Hey there.
Nice to meet you too. Hi,
Would you
I'm
mind
Elliot.
if we ask some questions about what you're doing?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
You guys want some
Shoot.
stuff to read too?
What is this all about?
Well, Tony Blair is effectively a war criminal. He faked the evidence to get us into the war with Iraq, right, in 2003. And this guy, Dr. David Kelly, he was a weapons inspector for Iraq, and he came out saying that the intelligence to get us into the war, the idea that Saddam Hussein had access to nuclear material, was sexed up, that it was a quote-unquote sexed up evidence or documents. And he was called to testify before Parliament. And shortly afterwards, he was found suicided, which means his body was in the middle of the woods. You know, his wrists were slit. Apparently, he had taken a bunch of pills. And there was a commission that looked into what happened, and they declared it a suicide. Well, recently it's came out. We've had several doctors, dozens or over 13 doctors, say that it was impossible for this man to kill himself. And the evidence showing it shows there was no fingerprints on the jar of pills that he took, no evidence on the knife that he supposedly slit his throat. He had a disease with his hand, so he couldn't even put enough pressure on the knife to actually cut himself. So he was found dead. So that's what this is about. And Tony Blair, he's just an all-in-all scumbag. I mean, he comes here to talk about world peace, you know, and how he's some type of spiritual leader. And the fact is that he's the one who got us in the war and is responsible for millions of Iraqi civilians' deaths, as well as the healthcare policy that he implemented in England called NICE, not the National Health Service, but the National Institute of Clinical and Health Excellence, is responsible for 1 in 6 deaths in England currently.
Well, do you guys know
every
much
year
about the British Empire?
No, we're actually studying more of the colonial period right now.
What are you guys studying?
Colonial period. What's the colonial period?
The colonial period of the British Empire.
AP US history. We're in AP US, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know about the Opium Wars?
Yes, in China and kind of Asia. And
Yeah.
Right, exactly. That is a policy of the British Empire. And Tony Blair is a mouthpiece for that system of promoting colonies in countries, of promoting drug trade, of actually destroying nations economically so that they can loot them with their free trade policies. Tony Blair is a mouthpiece for the British monarchy, who want to depopulate the earth by 4 billion people with their environmental policies, with their healthcare policies, with the bailout policies. This guy is a complete asset of that system. And the system right now is bankrupt.
He's also a close friend of the Gaddafi family in Libya.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So he's a really good friend of those great global leaders like Gaddafi, who's killing his own citizenry right now. He helped set them up with arms. He released this Lockerbie bomber for oil a couple of years ago. You remember the Lockerbie bombing in Scotland? About 200 people were killed.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, they released the guy who did it. And supposedly he was terminally ill. And he was sent back to Libya, but the deal was that they would get some amount of oil from Libya to release this guy.
Okay.
So these guys, the British Empire has been supporting global terrorism since pre-Opium Wars in China.
Okay.
And it's the way the system works is a financial empire. You have a financial system that sits on top of nations.
Just a question.
Yeah.
If there's so many problems with the policy, why do you think it hasn't changed yet?
Well, because the people who control the money on the planet have an agenda, right?
Well, it's happening. It is changing right now.
That's true.
You have a global process underway of a complete rejection from countries like Egypt, from countries like Libya, here in the United States. You just have a rejection of the policies, like in Egypt, policies which represented the IMF, or in Libya, a similar case, in Germany, Ireland, all around the world is an actual mass strike, where the actual populations, not the governments, are speaking out and forcing their governments to either get out of office or change the policies that they have adopted to save this British free trade system. That's the issue, because all these bailouts you're seeing from the United States, from European countries, the only result is that you get from those types of bailouts is cuts from the actual population. So that, plus the fact that you have a global hyperinflation in process.
Hey, come on
Food
over, guys.
commodities, gas commodities, things.
Economic problems are
Yeah,
all
things are
going
just, the prices are just going, they're skyrocketing.
Hey, did you waste money to come see this
thank you for your
fascist
time.
Are you
Tony
guys
Blair?
citizens or what's...
Who's got a...
Yes,
Yeah.
American citizens, born and raised here and everything.
Alright.
Even though, I guess we're not the typical American, I guess, just by ethnicity. So we're here to listen to
Typical
Tony
American,
Blair
you think?
and maybe learn a little. Thank you for answering all these questions.
Yeah, you guys should stay in contact.
Wait, do you approve of Gordon Brown's policies over Tony Blair, or do you guys still disapprove of him as well?
Gordon Brown over Tony Blair?
Yeah.
No, we're not. We don't support. We don't really support the British monarchy in its current form.
So you're also condemning the entire political system in general, or?
Yeah, the way their system is set up over there in England is not a good thing, because the people in the United Kingdom don't have that much say in terms of politically, and yeah. So the problem is, but the bigger problem is the fact that their actual system, this British Empire, which exists as a monetary conglomeration of banks over in Europe, known as the Inner Alpha Group, led by Sir Jacob Rothschild, they actually own about 73% of world's finance right now, and they're absolutely bankrupt. And so they're the ones, along with the royal family, British intelligence, they're the ones that are pushing these policies that you get here in the United States, as well as in Europe and in other places, to do anything possible to save their system. And it can't be saved. It's beyond repair at this point. So.
Okay, thank you.
If you guys want to stay in contact, leave a way to. We're going to be having a webcast tomorrow.
What time is it? It's 23. Do you want to go? Up there.
You guys,
Sorry, we'll be back.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
So,
I want ice cream.